Hey everyone, Chris here. In this video I'm going to talk about my journey to and through IRONMAN Copenhagen. Now let's establish what's going to be in this video. I didn't record anything at the race, so if you're looking to do research for your own journey to IRONMAN Copenhagen, this probably isn't the video for you because it's just me sat on a sofa. But on the other hand, if you've been following me for a while and you're a bit more interested in my personal training, my personal journey, then this is a good video for you because I'm going to be quite candid about what was going on for me. And so it's very much a personal story with limited relevant information if you're going to IRONMAN Copenhagen and more just about me. So that having said, feel free to watch one of my other videos if that isn't for you, but if it is, then great. Let's get into it. So I actually, I don't know, I try to be like, try to promote a sense of fun and excitement on my YouTube channel. But to be honest, like I am not a fun, outgoing YouTuber. Like I quite like sitting in my own house and I don't really I hate traveling. I know that's super unpopular to say, but it's just such a hassle. Like you've got to go, you get to the airport, getting to the airport is a nightmare. Then you've got to go through 5 levels of security where they keep checking your body. Then you've got to fly somewhere. Then you've got to get from the airport to your hotel. And then your hotel, nothing works. Your key card doesn't work, and you have to find food, and there's nowhere to put your food, and so on and so on. I actually really like being at home. And so one of the reasons that I started doing a lot of running and triathlon events was to really push out that comfort zone. So I really set myself a challenge of using kind of goals I really valued. Like I wanted to go places and do races, and that would really expand the kind of push me past that. And I don't really want to go travel somewhere because it sounds like a pain in the ass, and really challenge that idea and go do races. And so back when I got into triathlon, hadn't even run a marathon yet, but I kind of got this goal in my mind of, well, I'll go do these races and I'll go do some triathlon and I'll go do all these other scary things. And eventually I kind of settled on this goal of, well, maybe I'll go abroad and do a triathlon. And so when I did Yorkshireman, which was my first full distance triathlon in 2019, I thought, okay, well, I'll sign up for IRONMAN Copenhagen, and that'll kind of be the end of the journey. So all of this getting into triathlon, really expanding out my distances, really getting more comfortable being on the road, all of that comes together. Going to a foreign country and doing an Ironman was this kind of good goal for me to work towards, I think. So I signed up for it in end of 2019, start of 2020, and then of course in February, March time of 2020, COVID exploded. We went into a global lockdown, and therefore I couldn't do the race that year because it was cancelled. And so I ended up doing a self-supported one. And honestly, if it had gone ahead and the pandemic never would have happened, I might have done my first full distance try, this one, and then just have been done with it. But as it is, I've now done 6 and counting, because I was going to do Copenhagen in 2020 and I couldn't, and then it got postponed to 2021, and then it was on in 2021, but they weren't letting British people into the country. So again, I had to defer to 2022, and this was finally 2022. The travel restrictions were dying down. I could make it to Copenhagen and I could do the race. So super excited. By this point, I'd done 5 full distances. So it wasn't like I was reaching this distance and that was it, but the idea of doing the full distance try and doing it in a foreign country was really a big landmark for me. So we flew into Denmark on the Thursday, and if you've done this kind of racing before, you'll know it kind of turns into a whole weekend event. So we flew in, found our accommodation on the Thursday. Friday I went down and registered, and then Saturday went down to rack my bike. We also did the Iron Kids event, so that's just a little run that they put on for kids, and me and my daughter did it. She got a little medal for doing like a kilometre or something. Like, it's way shorter than she would do at junior park run, and she ends up with a medal. So it was nice, but a bit easy maybe. And then of course Sunday was race day, so got down there nice and early, got to see the sunrise of Amager Strand Park, and that was absolutely beautiful, like really nice to see. And then we were into the race, like had loads of time, and of course I've done it before, so I almost got there too early and I had too much time. Nice feeling to have, though, way better than that feeling when you get there late and you're panicking. And every time I'm bored in transition before a race, I remind myself the other way was to come in late and be in a panic, and that's worse. So we're in the race. The swim, man, it was hard. Like, I put myself in a faster wave because what really tends to annoy me is that because I'm a slow but consistent swimmer, and a lot of people that would swim my kind of times are fast but crap swimmers. So they'll do a bit of front crawl, then they'll have a panic, they'll do a bit of breaststroke, or they'll do some front crawl, stop to breathe and just tread water for 20 seconds, and then plow on far too fast again, and they just keep stopping and starting or switching to breaststroke in front of me, and it really annoys me. So to try and avoid that, I put myself in a far faster swim wave than I knew I could do. And then I thought, well, I'll just swim to the side, I won't get in anyone's way, and at least I won't have people stopping right in front of me. But I found the swim super hard, and it's really frustrating I'm a triathlon coach and a psychologist, and I'm there freaking out a little. And of course, that brings up a lot of feelings of, why am I letting this get to me? I'm supposed to have all the knowledge as a coach and a psychologist, but it absolutely is useful, because if you need those techniques to calm yourself down and to bring everything under control, having those and practice those and taught those to others really reinforces that knowledge. And so in the end, I was the annoying guy that switched to breaststroke about 600 meters in the swim, just because I really wasn't feeling it. Luckily, I could use all those techniques and got things under control, and then I was back into it. Managed to swim out at the halfway point. It gets really shallow in the lagoon where they do the swim, so everyone just stands up and has a little bit of a walk at that point. And part of me was like, no, I want to swim the whole thing, I'm not going to stand. And then I was like, but maybe I should develop some self-kindness and allow myself to walk. In the end, there were just so many people around me walking that I just kept bumping into people, and so I also got up and had a little bit of a walk, and then got back in and swam the rest of it. And the rest of it was okay. I was a bit bored by the end of the swim, which I guess is a sign that you're feeling pretty good and maybe not working hard enough. But I'd rather pace myself and make sure I had the energy for the rest of it. The bike course out there is lovely. It is so flat. There isn't really a hill. They talk about one of the famous hills where they get supporters on, but there's nothing really where you would need to get out of your saddle. I mean, after like 160 kilometers, I will take any opportunity to come out of the saddle for a bit. But I bet the fast guys weren't, because you didn't need it. It was super flat. I heard someone after the race talking about, I wasn't expecting the hills. I didn't see any hills. I'm pretty sure I did the correct bike course, because the distance is correct and I didn't seem to miss any of the turnings. But coming from Yorkshire, there was nothing steep there. Like, some of the terrain went up and down a little bit, but really it was all flat. It was all in the saddle work, which is also quite hard, because when you do get to like 150 kilometers in there and you've just been trying to hold the aero position for that long, it is a long time and you want an excuse to get out of the saddle. So that was the bike done, and then of course we're on to the run, and I felt good for maybe the first 10k or so, and then maybe not so good, getting a little bit tired, and so I always try and get as deep into the run as I can before I start using caffeine, whether it's Coke or Red Bull or whatever it is. And I think I try to get to like 21k. I think I got to about 15k, and then I was feeling so tired I thought it was time to start drinking the Red Bull, who sponsor, they were one of the nutrition sponsors for the race, so they just had cans of Red Bull. And originally they were giving out in cups, but then they ran out of cups, so they just started opening cans. And so if you look at a lot of the photos I have from the event, it's me running along holding a can of Red Bull, because it was literally an entire can, so it was too much to drink at once. And also I didn't want to get to an aid station later on and then be completely out of Red Bull. I didn't want to waste it. So I did a lot of the run carrying this can of Red Bull. And I think discarded it. I ran out maybe about 30k, something like that. And the kind of 30k point was like a really emotional bit for me, because I knew I was close to finishing. So I never really, when I did my first full distance triathlon, when I got to kind of 20k maybe, that was quite big, because then I knew that I was going to finish, and until then I didn't really know where I was going to finish because it was my first one. By the time I got to Copenhagen, I was pretty sure all day that I would finish, especially after I got out of the swim. But at 30k there was this point where it just got really emotional for me, because I knew that I'd been on this journey for 5 years, pushing out my comfort zone, doing the scariest things I could find, and here I was about to finish IRONMAN Copenhagen. And so I started welling up with tears, but then I was thinking, actually 10k, it's like an hour or so of running, and so I don't want to break down emotionally here, because I've still got an hour to go, and that's not a good point. So I thought I will save the tears for the finish, and once I get to the finish line, then I can bawl my eyes out like a child, and it'll be fine, because then I'll be at the end. So I was trying to hold back these tears for a lot of the last 10k, but then I got into the final kind of few kilometers, and after that the adrenaline really kicked in, and I got excited about finishing. And when I got to the finish line, like, I wasn't expecting the announcer to be, they were like at the start of the finish chute rather than the end, and I ended up running it in, and just, yeah, everything moved so fast, and I was just so excited to be there that it was just excitement after the race. So I never actually got to have my little cry, because I was just so excited and then so exhausted. Once you cross that finish line, then you're just like, I need more caffeine and maybe some food. And it's a weird feeling, because you're hungry, but you absolutely do not want to stomach anything. So the thought of eating is awful. So that's if you ever think, oh, it'll feel amazing to finish an Ironman, it won't feel amazing. You'll feel pretty rubbish, I think. But then like a week later, you feel amazing. So it is worthwhile. So that was it. I was just excited to be at the end. I'd kind of made it through this journey of going from becoming an Ironman triathlete and really pushing my comfort zone, going to a different country, somewhere different in the world, and doing one of the hardest races you can do. In terms of distance, obviously Copenhagen is one of the flattest Ironmans you can do. So I haven't made many videos lately, and one of the reasons is I was so focused on triathlon for the past 5 years, and now I've done Ironman Copenhagen, I'm taking it a bit more easy. I've just moved over to Ireland for a little bit to do some research at Trinity College. So I haven't been doing as much triathlon as I would like. I have been doing as much triathlon as I like, because I want to take that break and want to just kind of recapture the excitement and just kind of do what I want, rather than being on that kind of full distance training schedule. So that's been nice, but as a consequence I haven't made as many videos, but I wanted to share this personal story with you, and I would love to hear your personal stories, so you can stick those in the comments, or if you've made a video, stick that in the comments as well, because it'd be lovely to hear other people's kind of stories about doing this. Hopefully you found this video worth watching, and if so, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber already, then do hit that subscribe button, because my channel is all about triathlon and psychology and endurance sports, and I would love to have you in our community.